Welcome to the Building Your Career podcast. I'm your host, Don Tarjanskis, and join us as we explore the world of construction. Each episode, we welcome a guest that shares career highlights and career advice, and hopefully inspires the next generation of construction professionals.
Welcome to another episode of the Building Your Career podcast. Today, I'm joined by Kai, who is the winner of the Young Builder Award from Youth Build UK last year. So very excited to have him on the podcast. So I suppose, Kai, we'll start off where we always start off. Could you tell all our listeners a little bit more about your current job role and also the company that you work for as well?
Yeah, I'm Kai, I'm 20 years old. I'm a bricklayer. I finished my MVQ2 apprenticeship 2 years in September. So I'm a fully qualified bricklayer now. I was working with a big company called Marley up in London, doing big blocks of apartments and things like that. It was a great opportunity with them. They do good apprenticeships and that, and they're very good at teaching and providing lots of opportunities to enter competitions and progress in different areas, different skills. Like they put me on lots of courses and things like that, like fire training, like abrasive wheels training, things like that. And then now I'm just working for a little development firm called CJ Fox, doing extensions and like knock throughs and house builds and things like that. So it's going well, it's going good. I've been doing my own little things and that on the weekend.
Brilliant, mate. And, in terms of background and experience, we always like to say, kind of where people started off and first started off in the industry. But I think for you, you had quite an inspirational story that you said to everyone at the Youth Build Awards, really, about how you first started off and how you got in. So could you just give us a little bit of a background about, kind of how you got into the industry?
Yeah. So when I was about 12, 13, I come back from being in foster care and that I was living with my mum, and then I was starting to see my dad again. And so I used to go like working with him on the weekends and like I'd just go labouring for him. We'd have little garden walls and patios to do. So I just come there and just do all the grunt work and that. So that's how I started to get into it, and I just started to fall in love with burnt clay, bricks. And, yeah.
And then it was a case of being spotted by Lee Marley as well once you'd kind of...
and then, so yeah, when I turned 16, I started going to college. I left school, went to college, and I met Christian. And then he offered me an opportunity to go work for Lee Marley, who had multiple apprentices at the college I was going to. And he said, it's a great opportunity. You're just on the trail every day. The moment you get there, and you'll just be learning. You'll progress so much quicker. And I did also always want to go onto them big sites and that to learn. It's a completely different experience to what I had been doing, and there's a whole lot more to learn over there. It's like two sort of separate worlds. Like you learn a lot on doing like houses and extensions, that, and then like the big builds are like it's on a large scale, so you get to like see everything. Just it's crazy.
I was going to say, what just on a bit of a tangent here, what do you find is the kind of the main difference between working on those real large scale stuffs and then going right down to extensions? What's the kind of the main difference or different ways of thinking?
It's you have different sorts of problems. Like with when you're doing houses and extensions and that, and like you do an extension, you have to sort of follow the house and follow the gauge on that, and then it might not be quite right, so you're having to bump up or grind down, like just little obstacles you have to get over, different sort of things. And then on them sites, a lot of it is pretty good, pretty perfect, like the concrete, and then it's all fresh, so you go like normal gauge, so it's a little bit easier sometimes with things like that. But like health and safety is a massive difference. Like on them big sites, it's very, very strict. And then it's a little bit more laid back when you're doing extensions and things like that. Of course, when I'm doing knock throughs and things like that, I still put a mask on and wear my gloves. But yeah, I've got the shorts on, and then when it's sunny, shirt is off, enjoying it, you know. So it's health and safety is probably the biggest difference between the two worlds. But
Uh,
You still try to look
okay.
after yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And out of interest, how did you find the trainee route as well? Kind of coming down that route, was there much kind of support in place from day one? And what did you how did you find it?
Um, yeah, when I started to go to college, that I had a lot of support at college. Christian, my tutor, was fantastic, like the best teacher I've ever had. I didn't
Hmm.
do too well in school. I struggled with school. It just wasn't really my thing. As a lot of people in the trade did. It's just not really for them. But I went there and I was doing stuff. I could always go ask questions. He was coming in early, so I could come in early and stay a bit later, so I could finish off little projects. And then he 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 was always giving me compliments and telling me like I should be proud of myself and things like that, and giving me advice, and it really boosted my confidence because at first I didn't really accept that I was doing well, and he was like, "No, you're really good for someone who's never really been doing it before." I was like, "Yeah, great." Um, and then when I went to Lee Marley, yes, yeah, there was lots of support there, and that there was like where it's such a large company, there was multiple people I could go to. I had like foremans out on site, I had the project manager. I could always call Christian because Christian now works for Lee Marley. Uh, and then there was people in the offices if there things went wrong with the wages or whatever. If suddenly we could book holiday off, there was always people. Just I could ring multiple people and always had some. I could always have a situation sorted out if need be.
Nice. And that's the myth that we're trying to bust here as well, is that, a lot of people think on a building site or when you're out on site that no one's going to
Mm,
give you the time of day to kind of help you out, particularly if you're kind of first starting off. So as
yeah.
you well said there's so many people around you that you can just ask for help and ask for advice.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's different on every site you go. You might be working with a bunch of people who are just not great people you want to be learning around. Don't really want to spend the time trying to teach you and things like that. But it also it's a two-way street. If I could have gone to any site and then had a bad attitude, and no one really wanted to teach me. But
Yeah.
I went to work every day, I had a good attitude, a smile on my face. Uh, I tried to make people laugh, build a relationship with them, ask them questions all the time. Sometimes they'll answer them, but be like, "I'll tell you in a minute," or carry on working. Um, so it's a two-way street. There are always people out there who want to help you, but you need to be able to want to help yourself.
Yeah.
Asking the right
Yeah. Yeah.
questions, like turning up on time every day, um, like just giving your 110% effort. As long as you're doing that, like everything will fall into place. People want to help you. People are like you, and it's good. Just get in there and graft, and then just listen and learn.
Are you a job seeker, tired of endlessly scrolling through job boards with no success? Has your job search hit a dead end? Well, we're here to tell you there's another way. Here at Quest Personnel, we offer a variety of free resources to help job seekers just like you. Our team of expert recruiters is here to help you through every step of the job search process, from CV writing to interview techniques. But that's not all. We also offer exclusive access to workshops, networking events, and other job roles that you simply won't find anywhere else. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch now on our website, questpersonnel.co.uk.
That's a solid bit of advice there. And I think that leads quietly, and that might actually be the answer to the next question I was going to ask. But, if you could kind of turn back the hands of time and speak to your younger self when you first started off,
Yeah.
what would be the kind of the one piece of advice that you would give your younger self about the industry and knowing everything that you know now?
Um, don't put as much pressure on yourself. Like, I mean, pressure is good because pressure can help you learn a bit quicker if you're under stress a little bit. Like human body works a bit better when it's under a bit of stress and that.
Hmm.
Um, uh, but don't don't feel like you're always far behind because like you're learning. So don't like, expect to be the same as everyone else who's been doing it 20, 30 years. Even still now, like I beat myself up a little bit sometimes that I don't know as much as him or like he knows something that I don't know. And I was talking to my dad about it yesterday. He went, "But you're not going to be as smart as I am now. You haven't been doing it 30 years, 40 years, you
Yeah.
know." He said, "But you will be one day. So just try to just if you do something wrong, accept it, learn from it, and use that opportunity to turn it into a win. But don't need to beat yourself up badly over it. You make a mistake, everyone makes mistakes. Just be a man, own up to it, and then learn how to fix it.
And that's the thing. If you don't make mistakes, you'll never learn as well. So,
No.
the amount of times I used to go on site, I might have measured something wrong or made a mistake, and I'd never do that mistake again. So, as you
Yeah.
say, don't be afraid to make those mistakes as well. But obviously, I know you've come down the apprenticeship route, but in your opinion, for people first starting off and wanting to kind of be in your position and perhaps don't have the means to go down a degree route or go down a university route, what are the options available to people who want to get involved and who want to start working in the construction industry?
Walk round your hometown. There's always builders everywhere. Just go up to them, have a chat. I know they're big and ugly, but they're not going to bite you. Just go up to them and say, listen, like, have you got any weekend work for me? Do you need someone to jump on, give you a hand? Like, don't worry about the money, because if you start to learn and progress quickly, your money will go up. When I first started working, I was 12, 13, but I was getting £20 a day. And then right up until 16, 17, I was sort of on no more than 50, 60 quid a day. But I'd graft harder than absolutely everyone around me. Even when I was young, I was always trying to challenge myself and push myself to do more than everyone else around me. When I was running barrows and that, like digging out something, I'll be trying to do 2, 3 trips to their one. It's just got to have a little competition with yourself and like things like that. That'll help you get a job and like progress with the money. So just go ask builders. There's look online, go on Indeed. There's millions of jobs out there. If you sort a CSCS card, there's big sites everywhere, and there's decent money on them sites. You don't, like, with the health and safety and that, you don't have to work as much like a dog as you do on the extensions and things like that. But yeah, just go find local builders and just say, listen, I want to learn, I want to get into it. Like, can you teach me, or can I just come work with you? That's what I used to do in school. Like, I mean, I had family in the industry, so it was very easy for me to get in it. I've got a dad and uncle, 2 cousins in the industry. I had weekend work. I was working after school, and then I was making friends who like had little private jobs, and then I'd go do them with them. And because I'd shut up, listen, and grafted and put 110% effort in, people are wanting to take you on their little private jobs and that, and it all build up very quickly. Just go find a local builder or something, and yeah.
Yeah,
Or
definitely.
go down to college. Start a college course or something. There'll be people around who, I'm sure. Like, I remember there used to be a couple of builders who used to come in, and that's if there was any decent little apprentices in there. Um, you know,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the amount of directors that I've spoken to who did exactly that same thing, worked their way up as a labourer, and they've just consistently worked their way up. And as you say, it's just graft. Just get in there, be seen to be working hard, and naturally you're going to get noticed within the company. So
yeah.
some solid advice there. Now, in terms of kind of the industry at the moment and kind of nurturing and supporting young people, I suppose I'll go on to that final question soon. But I just wanted you to kind of, how did you get recognized for the award that the Young Builder of the Year award? And obviously that's what we're trying to do is to really promote the industry. But how did that all come about, getting that award? And obviously you went to Parliament, I think, as well.
Yeah. I've been to the House of Parliament twice. So I went to the House of Commons first, and then the House of Lords the second time. So when I joined Lee Marley, well, before I joined Lee Marley, actually, like Christian was talking about entering me into a little level 1 competition, but then COVID happened and that, so that never come about. And then after COVID, I joined Lee Marley, and then the competitions had started back up again. So Christian had entered me into. It was new at the time. Like when I was the first year to do this competition, the Fratera London Brick Challenge. Which is just like apprentices in London and surrounding areas. So I won that first. That was the first competition I won, best apprentice in London. And then Christian also entered me into the Fixed Radio Apprentice of the Year, where he sent them photos of my work and little blurbs of my project manager, what he said about me, the owner of the company, Lee Marley himself, what he had said about me, what Christian said about me. So then I ended up winning that one as well. And then it was the same for the Young Builder of the Year competition. It was sending in photos of my work, um, and what I've achieved in the industry, and my life before the industry, and how I've managed to sort of turn myself around and create a good situation for myself.
And it's awesome that there are those awards out there to get recognised, and something that we really do need to promote as well. But
Definitely.
that kind of leads really nicely onto the final question as well. Then, so the construction industry as a whole in the UK perhaps needs to do a little bit more in terms of promoting the industry. So,
Mm.
in your opinion, what can either businesses do, or the industry as a whole, or individuals in terms of directors or even managers? What can the industry do just to be a little bit better at promoting the industry?
It's hard. It's hard to say, really. I'm sure there's plenty of different routes you could go down to try to start getting more people into the industry. Um, Things like going to schools, like organising somehow, going to schools whilst people are young and struggling with like deciding what they want to do after school. Um, like there was kids like myself when I was in school. I didn't really enjoy it, and I didn't really get school, to be honest. But I was lucky that I had the industry around me, like with my family. But if like companies went to schools, offered little taster sessions or spoke about what the industry's like, then you'd be able to find kids who were like me, who didn't enjoy school, and maybe this would be good for them, but haven't got the industry around them, sort of thing. Then that's one way of getting more people involved. Um, there's a competition happening in a couple of months' time. I think it's in August, with like some social media bricklayers. Um, you've got the TTB, the traditional bricklayer, a fellow called Charlie Collison, a guy called Marley Brickwork. So they've all got their own Instagram pages, and they've got a decent following, and they give each other a bit of stick and a bit of banter, and they're going to have like a speed competition. Now bricklaying isn't always about speed, but things like that are good as well. So if they can promote that, send leaflets like that into schools and things like that. And like I was saying before, I can only talk about men because I'm a man. Young men like competition. Men like competition, so things like that will help get young boys into the industry. Seeing these opportunities out there to compete against their mates, and I can lay this many quicker than you, and things like that. That's another good thing. Yeah, and like having their personalities on social media, like the traditional bricklayer and Mahoney Brickworks, they've got fantastic personalities, and like seeing them and like they're like role models, and you know it, it's great people to have in the industry, and uh that will help get young people into the industry, seeing fellas like that
Yeah,
on
definitely.
social media. So if companies can start up things like that, have like I was talking to Christian about it before, about having like a little YouTube channel for like all the Marley apprentices and that, like because he goes around all the sites seeing them all. So like if he filmed himself and filmed the apprentices, seeing how they're getting on, that'd be a great thing, because then young people can see what apprentice life is actually like and what they're getting
Yep.
up to day in, day out, and that. Um, so, it's there's lots of different routes and methods you can go down. It's just implementing them, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely, mate. And that's what we're trying to do on this podcast, is just reach out to people, bust some of those myths that the construction industry has, and just promote the word as well. So yeah, solid bit of advice there, Kai. But Kai, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. I think you've given some awesome advice there. And for any of our younger listeners, get on Instagram and go follow those two guys, because it seems like they've got quite a few cool things going on as well. So Kai, thank you so much for being a guest. You've been incredible. Thank you.
lovely. Thank you, mate. It's been a pleasure.
All right, take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Joining us on the Building Your Career podcast. We hope you enjoyed hearing from our guest and learning about the different career paths available. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so we can reach even more listeners. And if anyone wants any free CV advice or simply wants to know the options available to them, don't hesitate to get in touch.